Alright, so section 5.3 is kind of like section 5.2 except in the reverse. So in 5.2 what they would do is they would give you z-scores. They would say, like, you know, z, or this is really 5.1 but also 5.2. They would say, you know, let's say z equals 1.25, find the area to the right of 1.25. That's an example from section 5.1. In this particular case, what they're going to do is instead they're going to give us the area. They're going to say, you know, the area is 0.42, find the z-score that matches up. So it's like everything you did in 5.1 except in reverse, backwards. Okay, so I will show you how to do that. So we want to find z-scores, we want to transfer z-scores into actual values, like for example an SAT score or something like that. And we will learn how to do that in section 5.3. Okay. So here's kind of a real life example. Let's suppose that you're applying to medical school and you know that you have to be in the top 10%. Okay, so you want to know, like up here, let's say this is 10%, 0.10, and you want to know what is the test score that I need to be in the top 10%. That's a perfect example of when you would need to be able to go in the opposite direction. Okay. So we'll talk about how to do that. So find the z-score that matches an area of 0.362. So let me draw that for you. And obviously I'd recommend getting a sketch. Now here's the thing. It says cumulative area. Cumulative area always means area from the left. Okay, so remember this area in the middle, this would be 0.5. They're talking about 0.36. So it's not going to be quite as much as 0.5. So it may be roughly about there. Sketch doesn't have to be perfect, but that's close enough. We're being asked for the z-score right there. Here's the first question I have for you. Is that z-score, if we're covering 36%, is that z-score going to be positive or negative? Okay, well the z-score right in the middle there is 0. Over here are negative z-scores, and over here are positive. So if we do this correctly, we should get a negative z-score. Alright, here's what you need to do on the calculator to do this. Okay, you need to go to second vars, and we're not going to pick normal CDF this time. It's a different problem. You go down to number, it's usually number 3, and it says inverse norm. Inverse means opposite, okay, because we're doing the opposite thing here. In the past we were given a z-score and they told us find the area. Now we're being given an area, so we're going in the opposite direction, inverse of a normal. Okay, so you pick inverse norm, and then I'm going to show you both of them. On the TI-83, it's going to open up a parentheses. On the 84, you'll probably get a screen that's showing you what to do. Okay, so on the 84, it's probably going to ask you for area right here, and it's probably going to ask you for mu and then sigma. Okay, and the same thing here. This is going to be the area number. This is going to be, sorry, that's going to be mu, and then this will be sigma, and you can separate them with commas. Mu and sigma are 0 and 1. How did I know that? Because we're dealing with z-scores. And z-scores, the z-score in the middle is 0. I will show you how to do it probably later with, you know, what about when it's not 0 and 1, because you remember some examples where we didn't have that. And what is the area? The area is this, and it's always going to be area from the, well, really from the left. Okay, so you would put that into your calculator, which I will do at the same time that you hopefully are doing right now. And when I do that, I get z is equal to negative 0.3499. So really negative 0.35. And that makes sense because we said we were supposed to get a z-score of negative, and in this case we did. Alright, so that's the first example. Second example, we want the z-score for 10.75% of the area to the right though. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. We want this area on the right to be 0.1075, and we're being asked for what is the z-score at that point right there. Okay, so here is how you would do that. Remember that inverse norm in the calculator, inverse norm, I shouldn't say remember because I just told you maybe 5 seconds ago, so it's the first time you've heard it. Inverse norm, this area is always area to the left. Okay, and that's important. It's area to the left. So in that case, how do we deal with area to the right? Well, we can find out if there's 10% of the area to the right, then what would the area to the left be? And hopefully you remember that the total area is 100%. So if we were to do 1 minus that, we would do 1 minus 0.1075, we would get this area, which is 0.8925. That is what all this is right here. So you would do inverse norm, same thing, but now we are putting in area to the left. Okay, and if you, by the way, if you did it the other way, here's a great way to catch your mistake. If you had put, instead of putting 0.89 there, if you would put 0.1075, it's going to give you this number over here, whatever that is, and you get a negative z-score. But if you look at our picture, we're way over here on the right of the graph. We should be getting a positive z-score. Okay, so that's how you can kind of check and catch your own mistakes if you do that, make that mistake. So when I do that, I get a z-score right here of 1.2399. So let's round that to 1.24. Okay, so we will check them. I think the next page is going to give us the answers, hopefully. But that's kind of how you would do it. They're doing it with a table, but you can see negative 0.35. They're kind of using a table for that. And here 1.24 was our answer, and you could see that picture right there. All right, and then here's just the printouts or the readouts of what it looks like in the calculator. Okay, and they do mention some of the tricks dealing with the table right here, but that's not quite as important. In the next example, I'm going to talk to you about percentiles. That's the next thing I want to talk about.